Hi there, welcome to Business Live. Coming up tonight, Deputy Ministers of Finance designate take their turns before the Appointments Committee of Parliament. Also coming up, insurance firm Hollard advocates vigorous financial education for informal sector workers in the country to increase insurance penetration. Also ahead tonight, startup businesses would from next year be relieved of taxes for at least 1 year. Thanks for making a date. I'll be back with the details. Welcome once again. My name is Daryl Kwao. Now, expenditure by the previous administration that was not captured under the public financial management systems could be more than what has been stated. That's according to the Deputy Finance Minister designate Kweku Kwarteng. He was reacting to questions that the 7 billion cedi expenditure arrears highlighted earlier by the Vice President might be lesser than what has been reported. Mr. Kwarteng also commented on other issues related to the economy.
You know, this capping was designed to solve a specific problem. It is new. The bill is now before Parliament. As its implementation begins, I am confident that those managing the economy are reasonable people. As they begin to implement these, it will become clear that those agencies that perhaps you mentioned, are not in a position to forego their IGF retentions any more than they have done in the past. Those lessons will be learned and then corrections would be done. But we ought to accept that the rigidities that we're seeking to deal with, which has been complained about in the past, is a real problem. And therefore, there was a need for this broad policy. So that's why I'm sure that provision was put in the budget so the minister can correct problems that arise. But going forward, those agencies that will be captured would be revised, and perhaps those that are being considered, because we are now starting, may be taken out. I'm also happy to have heard from the Honourable Minister that the ministry will be bringing an IGF bill to Parliament to deal with many of the issues that are coming up as a result of this capping policy.
All right, so that was Minister of Finance designate, Deputy Minister of Finance designate Kweku Kwarteng responding there to questions about how much ministries can spend under their internally generated funds. Let's now listen to Abnao Sayasari, who also appeared before the Appointments Committee of Parliament.
These days, technology is used in doing almost everything. It makes things cheaper and easier. And I believe I wouldn't say we, but the government is trying to use technology to mop up and to block the leakages, the revenue leakages in the system. And we are going through a lot of processes to see to it that, one, we capture every person in the working group with technology so that we'll be in a better position to tax all these people. And then I also believe that we are going to do the national addressing system where we are going to give properties addresses so that they will also be able to pay their taxes. And then we are also going to use revenue technology to rope all these people in so that at every point in time, we will have a better view of the taxes that we should be expecting in the economy. If I am given the nod by this committee, I will go into consultation with the rest of the deputy ministers nominated, and together we will come out with ideas and strategies that will help our minister to sort of try and maintain or regulate, not regulate, but try and see to it that our petroleum prices don't fluctuate that much. But these things, I must say, it's really not in the hands of the minister. It's petroleum prices are determined by what happens on the world markets. So we will do our part here, and we pray and hope that things get better on the world market. So together, the three of us will put our heads together and advise our minister on what the next steps to take to see to it that petroleum prices don't really fluctuate too much in our country.
All right, so Abnor Sayasari speaking on petroleum prices. Also appearing before Parliament's vetting committee today was another Deputy Minister of Finance designate, Charles Edubuayin. But we want to move away from there to some other stories we're covering for you tonight. Chief Executive Officer of insurance firm Hollard has indicated the country's quest to increase insurance penetration can be largely achieved if efforts are made to provide financial education to the informal sector workers. Linda Odro spoke to Joy Business at the start of Hollard's Streetwise Finance Initiative. About 70% of Ghana's population do not have access to various financial services, as majority of them are in the informal sector. Streetwise Finance, an initiative of Hollard Ghana, is aimed at helping informal sector workers manage their finances and become financially literate. CEO of Hollard Ghana, Linda Odro, believes the high rate of financial exclusion is also contributing to the slow pace of insurance penetration in the country.
So, for instance, we all bemoan the fact that insurance has less than 2% penetration in the market, and that is to be expected because most of our people are outside the financial services. So, till we bring everybody on board, we are not going to be able to make the target that we've set for ourselves. So it's incumbent upon all people to be able to pull the rest of our population into financial services. And the sure way to do that is to give them empowerment. And how do you empower people? Is when you have educated them, then they have that empowerment to move forward.
The Ghana Association of Garment Makers is the first group to benefit from Hollard Ghana's Streetwise Finance Initiative. President of the association, David Setrofia, shares how beneficial the training would be for them.
In terms of skill development, we are lack. We need a skill development exercises. Also, in a managerial terms, to manage our various shops. I think these are the challenges that we are having.
Okay. So how do you think that this initiative that Hollard Insurance has started will help you? Because I get the impression that most of your members are not even hooked onto any insurance products. Is that the case?
Yes, this is a classic step that Hollard is taking so that we can be able to know much about insurance policies. That will enable also secure our future.
Meanwhile, Hollard Ghana has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Accra Technical University to bridge the gap between academia and the insurance industry. Vice Chancellor of the University, Sylvester Achio, lauds the move.
The survey has been done long ago, and we've had a lot of stakeholders meetings, and we came out with objectives that there is the need for the technical institutions, including the universities, to partner with industry. Try to get certain things done based on identified challenges within the various communities. So with this collaboration with them, we will intensify this, and it will be fruitful.
South Africa's second biggest non-life insurer, Hollard, began operations last year after entering the Ghanaian market through a 51% acquisition of Metropolitan Insurance Company Limited. The Private Enterprise Federation is pushing for a review in the formula for determining interest rates to give real meaning to the significance in policy rate. Now, the Bank of Ghana yesterday reduced its key lending rate to commercial banks by some 200 basis points. It's the biggest rate drop since December 2006. The central bank attributes the reduction to the positive outlook for the economy. But President of the Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, says this cut might not get the desired impact if the necessary changes are not made to the formula.
We want to see what the template is and how it's been reviewed. My understanding it's been reviewed, a new formula is coming into place, and we want to take a look at what the formula is and possibly influence how it's going to make maybe influence or impact on the charges, interest rate charged by the bank. The banks also are business people. They also, it's not their money. The money that they hold in trust for additional responsibility to the depositors. So they cannot rock the boat because this is what you promised the people 90 days ago. Now, the changes today, you cannot react to the changes today until at the end of the 90-day period, then you can react to it. There's always a lag in the reaction to the development. So yes, there should be, and we support the fact that interest rates should be coming down. But my point and the main point of private sector business is that there must be alternative sources of financing other than credit in our system.
Well, the Ghana cedi continues to make some strong gains on the interbank market. It opened trading yesterday at 4 cedis 21 pesos, but closed at around 4 cedis 30 pesos. Analysts are attributing the cedi's record performance in just a week to a sharp decline in demand for dollars to support imports. So what kind of monetary and fiscal measures should be implemented to sustain this performance? Amagate is president of ACI, an association made up of bank treasurers and currency dealers.
When the budget was read, there was renewed confidence in the economy. It was generally received positively by the external investors. And so we saw that the exits from the market stopped, and we actually had external investors trying to invest back into the market. If my memory serves me right, the last 3-year bond had about 46% participation from external investors. And with the inflows from the external investors, it had a positive impact on us. So we saw our cedi starting to appreciate. So there's a bit of speculation. They are of the opinion that rates will continue to fall. So we see that there is no demand on the market.
So basically, if I also get you, most of these businesses that are exposed to dollars or are dealing in dollars are more of a wait and see because they think that things will appreciate. So they're not demanding more for dollars. At all.
So there's almost no demand in the market at the moment. I mean, normally, with the normal trend, April is quite slow because we find that people have already imported against Easter already. And then it picks up again in May or June. And then in August, it picks up really well because people are trying to stock up for Christmas. But now that everybody is kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, there's no demand even in March. So we think that the rate will continue to trend downwards. Today on the interbank markets, we are trading around 4.36, 4.37. I guess market dynamics will decide whether it's sustainable or not. But I wouldn't say it is forced. It is not. So it is really market dynamics playing a part in this. So I think it is sustainable.
All right, welcome to the program. Apologies for that. We had to fix some technical issues. But I've got good news for you if you are a startupper, because startup businesses would from next year be relieved of taxes for at least 1 year. Now, this, according to government, is part of plans to encourage the establishment of new businesses to drive its job creation and economic growth agenda. The Minister for Investment and Business Development, Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, revealed this to Joy Business at a breakfast meeting organized by the India High Commission in the World Trade Center here in Accra.
The tax break should offer some respite to especially startups that reportedly find it hard to survive beyond the first year due to operational and financial challenges. The Minister for Investment and Business Development, Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, said beneficiary entrepreneurs would be expected to plow back the savings made into their businesses for growth.
the government plans to have a 1-year regulatory tax breaks for startups. Very important. We want to have a 1-year regulatory break for startups. We don't want them to just start, we want them to endure. Out of every 100 companies that start in this country, about 8 of them collapse before they get to 5 years. It's not good for us. And out of that, we have a very big 80%, 90% SMEs, and then we don't have the middle, what we call the missing middle. We don't have a middle big companies in this country. You have very small ones that are not formalized. It's difficult to even tax them. So again, one initiative that government has put in place is to ensure that there is a clear identification system. We are starting this year, and then we hope to cover every Ghanaian within 2 years. We want to remove all the bottlenecks to business, and I want you to support us in that. We've set up, this at the Ministry of Business Development, to elicit complaints to be sure how we can remove all the bottlenecks to business. We cannot do it alone. We are a government that believes that the government's work is to create the framework, and the private sector must come in and develop. We are going to be conscious on that, and we are going to focus on this area.
On his part, the Indian High Commissioner to Ghana, Birender Singh, praised the new government's drive to stimulate business growth, which he says makes it more crucial for the two countries to deepen trade and investment ties.
India and Ghana enjoy a very robust bilateral relationship. The seeds were sown even before the independence of both the countries, and the relationship has been further nurtured by the successive leadership of both the countries. And we are very happy that India is one of the strong developmental partners of Ghana. Our developmental partnership has already crossed $500 million mark, and recently we had signed $398.33 million bias credit agreement, under which railway line would be laid down from Tema to Akosombo. We also signed a sugarcane cultivation concession line of credit, which would be helpful in making the Kominda sugar factory a commercially viable option. The government of India has approved a $150 million line of credit for agriculture mechanization, and I think the Ghanaian government is working on obtaining the necessary approvals.
The breakfast meeting was organized under the theme Promoting India-Ghana Business Relations Through Trade and Investment.
Well, government is optimistic it will be able to remove all bottlenecks in doing businesses by the end of this year. This, according to the Minister for Business Development, Mohamed Awal, is critical in ensuring that both startups and existing businesses are able to grow their businesses to the benefit of the economy. Now, Ghana is currently ranked 108 on the World Bank Ease of Doing Business ranking. And Mr. Awal tells Joy Business government is committed to improving Ghana's ranking to between 60 and 70.
Ghana is now ready to do much more business. Mr. Commissioner, can we increase this relationship from 2 billion to 6-7 billion within the next 4 years? Government will continuously create the environment for this business. As contained in the budget by the Finance Minister a couple of weeks ago, the government has announced a lot of initiatives to attract and retain businesses in this country. One such key commitment is that government will continue to improve the regulatory framework. Ghana's ranking in the business framework has been 108 out of 190 countries, which is very bad for us. We are committed to making sure that doing business in Ghana improves to about 67% by close of this year. We intend to do that so that all the bottlenecks in businesses will be removed. We cannot do it alone, but with the help of the private sector. And Indian businesses are quite key in supporting government to improve upon the regulatory framework in Ghana. Another policy initiative that government has put in place is the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan. This is a very big, ambitious program by government to make sure that we equip our young people with entrepreneurial skills, innovation and skills that can make them be job owners instead of being job seekers. And I want Indian government again to support us because we have very low-cost technology and very efficient technology that can help us in terms of business development. In this case, the SME sector in this country would play a role. And I know India's experience in the SME sector. Mr. Commissioner, Again, I want to have a relationship between your SME sector and the Ghana SME sector, so our young people in this country can have the skills, entrepreneurship to move this country forward.
To aviation now, and Ghana will fully open its airspace to 18 other African states on the 1st of June this year. This follows the signing of the Yamoussoukro Declaration. It committed 44 countries to deregulate air services and open up regional air markets to transnational competition. However, the implementation of this convention has been slow, with expected benefits yet to be fully realized. In an interview with Joy Business, Director General for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Simon Alote, stated African member airlines stand to gain much from this initiative.
It is a Yamoussoukro decision signed by the AU Heads of States in 1998, and AU has decided that because of the slow pace of implementation of the Yamoussoukro's decision, states should sign a solemn commitment or declaration to fully implement the YD or Yamoussoukro decision. Ghana is among 19 African countries which have signed that declaration. And come 1st June 2017, all those 19 states have pledged to fully open their markets to other carriers of those 19 states. So that's the first step. So we're really moving towards the creation of the single African air transport market. What it will mean is then in planning your route schedule, if you're a carrier, you know your market is not just those restricted routes, but the entire African continent is your market. So airlines will now be able to plan more strategically, maybe lift a passenger from Accra to Lomé, instead of coming back empty to Accra and going to, let's say, Algiers. From Lomé, you could still pick passengers, then continue to Algeria, gets to Algeria, comes to Accra, decides to go to Nouakchott to Timbuktu or wherever. It's like, I don't want to use the word trot. You see the way they operate in Ghana, they go pick anywhere, they go on a route. This is what we want to aim at, and it will really open up the markets.
Now, the University of Professional Studies is making efforts to change the erroneous impression that newly trained graduates are not well cut for the competitive job market. With graduate unemployment increasing due to various factors, the issue has come up for public discourse on some platforms. Speaking to Joy Business at the launch of the Professional Masterclass, the University of Professional Studies Vice-Chancellor, that is Professor Abednego Amate, said there is a need to offer practical training that goes beyond classroom to ensure higher productivity and generate enhanced revenue.
Well, you know, the basic complaint against tertiary education these days is the fact that the kinds of students we are producing are not fit for the job market. And some even say it's one of the reasons why you have graduate unemployment. Now, for a university like ours, our focus is not just on scholarship, but also producing people who can fit into the job market. And so it's in part and parcel of our core mandate. So what we intended to do this time is to take it one step further, that level 400 students are prepared adequately for the job market. So what you see is the climax of it, to have a 1 week that we call the Professional Masterclass, for which they are going to engage industry practitioners, seasoned resource persons, and it's not going to be the normal classroom work, but there are going to be live sessions in terms of job interviews, business etiquette, and that kind of thing. So basically, that is the reason why we are having a program like this.
This is Business Live. We are taking a short break. We'll be back with our interview of the day.